Hello, welcome to this week's Level 1 class. So for the next 4 weeks we're going to work a little bit more on our abs strength. We're going to build on that over the 4 weeks and we'll switch and do a little bit more work on the glutes. We're going to bring a little bit of glute work back into it this week as well, or this month. So come on to the hands and knees, we're going to get started. So hands below the shoulders, knees below the hips. We'll just warm the spine up. Make sure you tuck the elbows in, so keep the shoulder blades pinched back and down. Drop the ribs down to the mat. Lift the head up, looking up in front. Turn the head to the left, push the ribs to the ceiling. Roll the head down and turn to the right. Dropping the ribs down and looking up in front. Turn the head back to the right. Ribs to the ceiling. Roll the head down, through to the left. And drop the ribs back down. One more time to the left. Ribs up as the head rolls down to the mat. Drop the ribs down as the head lifts, as the head looks up in front. Turn the head back to the right. Last one. Ribs to the ceiling, roll the head down, through to the left, and drop the ribs back down as you look up in front. Next what we're going to do, we're going to bring the legs out to the side. So we're going to pick the left foot up, turn the head to the left foot comes out, look around the left arm, push the ribs to the ceiling as you roll the head down, left foot comes in, right foot goes out, look around your right arm towards the toes, drop the ribs down, head comes up, foot comes back in. Turn the head back to the right, ribs up to the ceiling, push the ribs up, drop the head down, right foot comes in, left foot goes out, so you look around the left arm, drop the ribs back down, head looks up, left foot comes back in. Perfect. Look down between the fingertips, left leg back behind the body, right arm up in front, left elbow pointing towards the left foot, and circles with the heel in the hand. Good. Nice smooth circles, nice and big. And then change directions. Perfect. Nice big round circles. Keep the hips and shoulders still. And arms and legs back down. Right leg back, left arm up in front. And circles with the heel in the hand again. Keep the shoulders over the hands, hips over the knees. And then change directions. Perfect. And bring the arms and legs back down onto the mat. We're going to bring the hips and shoulders to the left now. We're going to try and bring the right leg back behind the body. Remember, left elbows pointing towards the toes. And then the right arm up in front. Good, and just get your balance. Arms and legs back down, hips and shoulders to the right, left leg back, left arm up in front, and keep the shoulders and the hips level, so don't twist the body, open the chest up facing to the side, keep the chest facing down towards the mat, right elbow tucked in, and arms and legs back down. Perfect. Over onto your back now. So rest the head onto our block. Perfect. And we're just doing a little bit for the spine, just getting into the imprint again. So big deep breath in, push the rib cage all the way out. Breathe all the air out of the lungs, empty every last drop out, pull the rib cage down and in nice and tight. Imprint the spine, so push the back into the mat. Good. And then relax. Big deep breath in again, push the ribs all the way out. Arch the back, so you lift the back up off the mat. Breathe all the way out. Empty all the air out. Pull the rib cage down and in. Push the back down into the mat. Perfect. One more time. Relax, push the ribs out. Arch the back, big deep breath in. And then breathe all the air out. Rib cage comes down, imprint the spine, and keep it in that position now. Arms by the side, relax the shoulders, legs to tabletop. And tap the feet off the mat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Legs back to tabletop, keep the spine imprinted. Tap the 2 feet off the mat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, and the last one, 10. Bring the feet back up and then back down one at a time. Good. So we're focused on keeping the imprint there, keeping the back flat, really working the lower abs. We're bringing a little emphasis to the upper abs now. What I want you to do, bring the right hand up to the ceiling, left hand comes onto the right ribs. Big deep breath in, feel the ribs push out, breathe all the air out, keep squeezing the abs, pull the rib cage down, and bring the right hand back behind your head, and then back up towards the ceiling. Now as you do this, make sure this right set of ribs doesn't start to pop up at the very end of the movement. So we want to keep imprinting the spine in this position. Right hand comes back behind the head. And make sure at the end as we try to touch the thumb off the mat that we don't arch our back and let the ribs push up. So we want to keep the rib cage down and in nice and tight the whole time. And then back up. One more. Squeeze the ribs down and in. Left hand on the lower right ribs. Keep squeezing them down. Focus on the imprint. Right hand keeping the elbow straight. Right hand bring it all the way back down to the mat. And touch that right thumb off the mat behind you. And then back up to the ceiling. Good. And then the same on the left side. So right hand comes onto the left rib. Left hand up to the ceiling. Big deep breath in. All the air comes out. Squeeze the abs. Pull the rib cage down and in. Bring the left hand back behind the head. Keeping the elbow straight. Focus on the imprint at the end. And left hand back to the ceiling. Good. Keep the ribs down and in nice and tight. Left hand comes back and up to the ceiling. Good. Pull the left shoulder down. Imprint the spine. Left hand comes back and really push those ribs down to the ceiling. Keep the left elbow straight as you touch that left thumb off the mat and back up. Good. Now, we're going to tie that into the lower abs. So let's bring more of an emphasis. When we bring the hands back, we don't arch our back, so it makes it easier for the shoulder. We want to keep this rib cage down and in like that. So imprint the spine, ribs are down, legs to tabletop, hands to the ceiling. We're going to tap the left foot off the mat and the right hand is going to touch the mat behind us. 1. And then right foot, left hand. 2. Left foot, right hand. 3. Good. Right foot, left hand. 4. Left foot, right hand. 5. I'm getting confused. Right foot, left hand. 6. Perfect. Remember, focus on the ribs. Do 2 more each side. Keep the back imprinted. Nice soft taps. And keep breathing in and out. Nice smooth breaths the whole time. And the last one. Perfect. Feet down onto the mat. And hands back down by the side. We're going to do a little bit for the glutes now. So we're going to imprint the spine. Roll the hips back. And lift. 1. So again, just a little bit of motor control. Getting used to this imprinting movement. Arch the back as much as you can. Roll the pelvis back, flattening the back into the mat, and then scoop the hips up. 2. At the bottom, arch the back, flatten and scoop. 3. Good. Arch, flatten and scoop. 4. Good. Keep the rib cage down and in again. So once you get that pelvis rotating in a nice smooth movements, bring your focus to the ribs. Keep the rib cage squeezed all the time then as well. Good. Up nice and high. And then remember to relax the shoulders. So we don't want any excessive tension in other parts of the body. Just because we're using one set of muscles, we don't want all the rest of them to contract. We just want to get the right ones working at the right amount. One last one. Arch the back, flatten, scoop the hips back, keep the rib cage down, and relax the shoulders. And come back down. Perfect. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to do a little bit of work onto the left glute. So right knee into the chest. You can hold that knee if you want. So we're not going to hold it really tight. Keep it kind of loose. And we're going to lift the hips up and lower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep the shoulder blades back. 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, 10, and back down. Switch legs, right foot on the mat, left knee to the chest, drop the shoulder blades back and lift. 1, and down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Shoulder blades away from the ears. 8, 9. Smooth movements on the way up and the way back down. 10. And rest back down. Perfect. Good. Make yourself comfortable again. What we're going to do next, we're going to go for one set of hundreds. So imprint the spine, push the back down into the mat, bring the rib cage down, hands by the side. We're going to keep the feet on the mat, about 6 inches between the ankles and the knees. Reach the hands to the bottom of the mat, chin is tucked in, head and shoulders up off the mat, up nice and high, and beat the hands. 2, 4, 5, breathe out. 2, 4, 5, and in. 2, 4, 5, and out. 2, 4, 5, and in. 2, 5, out. 2, 4, 5, in. 2, 4, 5, out. 2, 4, 5, in. 2, 5, out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep the shoulder blades pinched back. Reach the hands to the bottom of the mat. Tuck the elbows in. So the point of the elbows pointing down onto the mat. And keep the palms facing down as well. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Last 2 breaths in. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Last breath in. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Rest the head back down and relax. Perfect. Next set, we're going to go for some flutter kicks. So we're going to keep the hands resting by the side. We're going to imprint the spine, legs to tabletop, straighten the legs to the ceiling, and small little kicks opposite directions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, focus on the imprint. Keep the rib cage down and relax the arms. Perfect. Bend the knees and bring the feet down onto the mat. So we'll come back to a little bit of bridging now again. So next what we're going to do, we're going to lift the hips up with one leg. We're going to keep the right leg straight. We're going to hold ourselves in a bridge and we're going to work our hip flexors. So we're going to pulse our right leg up and down. So rest the head onto the block, imprint the spine, lift the hips up, straighten the right leg, and 10 pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, keep the rib cage down. 6, 7. Hips nice and high. 8, 9. Last one. 10. Bend the right knee and rest back down. So we're on a nice straight line from the knee through the hips to the shoulder, and make sure we don't push those ribs up, so we keep our spine nice and flat. So next one, same thing for the left side. So we're going to lift the hips up, straighten the left leg, keep the left hip level at the right, push the hips to the ceiling, rib cage stays down, and 10 pulses. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Bend the left knee and bring the hips back down. Good. Next one, you're going to grab your pillow if you have it there. So I'll give you a second to get it. I'm going to do a little bit for the adductors on the inside, and we're going to come back to more for the abs then. So knees bent, feet on the mat, circle between the thighs, about 6 inches between the feet. So we're going to squeeze nice and tight and relax. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and hold. We're going to drop the left leg out to the side and back in. Right leg out and in. Left leg and in. Right leg and in. Left leg, right leg, left and right. Good. So as you drop one leg out, the other leg stays perfectly still. It doesn't move at all. So nice smooth movements either side as the leg goes out and then back in. One last one on each leg and the last one on the right, and then relax the legs. Good. So we're going to tie a little bit more for the abs in with this. We're going to bring our feet gradually up towards the ceiling using the circle. I'm going to run through that same pattern. So imprint the spine, legs to tabletop, shins are parallel. We're going to squeeze and relax 2 legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Relax the shoulders. 8, 9, 10 and hold. Left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg. Good. Some nice smooth movements. Again, keep the shins parallel to each other. Good. Drop the leg out. Nice and smooth. Don't have any little rigid or flicking kind of movements. Again, drop that heel out with the knee. Good. One last one on the left. Last one on the right. And then grab the circle and bring the feet down. So you do ductus and rest for a second. We're going to use the circle. We're going to come back to the dead bug where we did the opposite arm or the opposite leg earlier. This time we're going to use the circle and we're going to do 2 legs and 2 arms at the same time. So again, more focus towards the upper abs. Imprint the spine. We're going to straighten the hands up to the ceiling. We're going to do a little bit of warm up first. Keep the knees and feet 6 inches apart. So we're going to squeeze the circle and relax. And again, drop the shoulder blades back to the mat. Tuck the elbows in so they're pointing down towards the toes. And squeeze and relax. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And relax. We're going to imprint the spine now. Bring the legs to tabletop. Squeeze the circle gently. We're going to tap the 2 feet off the mat and tap the circle off the mat behind your head. Remember, keep the rib cage down. So we're focusing on the imprint. We're really thinking about squeezing the ribs down and in as we bring the hands back behind the head. Good. 4. Keep the elbows straight. 5, 6. Elbows tucked in. 7, 8. Last 2. 9. Last 1. 10. Perfect. And bring the legs back down onto the mat. Good. We're going to come back to the circle between the thighs next. So we're going to imprint the spine. Legs to tabletop. And circle between the ankles or cushion between the ankles. Good. Straighten the legs to the ceiling, keeping the knees over the hips. Squeeze and relax. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now squeeze the left leg for 10. 1, 2, right leg stay still. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Keep the knees over the hips. Spine is imprinted. 10. Change legs. 10, 9, 8. Have the knees very slightly point out to the side. Good. Keep the back imprinted. Nice smooth breaths. Nice smooth movements with the right leg. And the left foot stays still. Last one. Bend the knees and bring the feet down. Perfect. We'll leave the circle down to the side for now. Do a little bit more for the lower abs. So we're going to straighten the 2 legs to the ceiling. We're going to drop the feet towards the mat and then back up. We'll take a little break. We're going to do a bit of lateral work then, try to bring some obliques into it. So imprint the spine, legs to tabletop, straighten the legs to the ceiling, focus on the imprint, lower the heels and lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Keep the rib cage down, relax the shoulders, and 10. Bend the knees and bring the feet down. A little bit of a rest. We're going to move into the upper abs after this, but the last one for lower abs, legs straight to the ceiling, and we're going to slide the legs from left to right. So as the legs go to the left leg reaches further, the right leg will lag behind us a little bit, and that's to make sure the pelvis stays still. So we don't want the pelvis rolling with the legs. We want to keep the pelvis stuck onto the mat and the legs just move side to side. So we're going to put the hands onto the 2 bony points here in front of the pelvis, and you're going to keep them perfectly still. So you're not going to feel them reach up and twist to the ceiling or drop down towards the mat. Imprint the spine. Legs to tabletop. Knees are over the hips. We're going to slide the right leg to the side, back to the middle, and left leg. Good, back to the middle. Out to the side, and to the left. 2, 3, good. And they're only moving about 6-7 inches each side. Make sure the legs go even left to right. You have one side you favour, sliding the legs a little bit more. And then remember those 2 bony points, they don't lift. So keep your fingers hovering on them and make sure they don't push up into the fingers or drop away. Good, don't forget the imprint. We're focusing a lot on the pelvis, but keep squeezing the back into the mat. Rib cages down and shoulders relaxed. Last one, back to the middle, bend the knees and bring the feet down. Good. A little bit for the upper abs next, and then we're going to work the glutes after that. So straighten the legs down onto the mat, hands back behind the head, arms forward, chin to the chest. Big deep breath in so you push the rib cage out. Breathe all the air out, bring the ribs down, arms forward, chin to the chest, roll up nice and tall, chest is forward and back down. 1, 2, arms are parallel to the top of the roll up. 3, and back down. Good. 4, keep the elbows tucked in. 6, perfect. 7, 3 more. Use the momentum of your hands to throw yourself up, but on the way down, make sure it's nice and slow. Good, 9, back down, elbows stay tucked in. And one last one, arms forward, roll up nice and tall, chest comes forward, and then nice and controlled, rolling back down onto the mat, curling your spine, and bring each vertebrae down one at a time, nice and soft. Good. One last roll up nice and high. Perfect. Next one, we're going to do a little bit of fun. So I did this in the express class this week as well. It's one we haven't done too much of, and it's rolling like a ball. So what we do is we come up onto the pelvis, hands on the front of either shin, so the fingers overlap the inside of the shin, the palms are on the outside, thumbs are pointing up towards the ceiling. We're going to bring the elbows up nice and high, but pull the shoulder blades back. Rock back onto the pelvis, so you're balancing. And what you're going to do is you're going to tuck your chin into your chest, you're going to round your spine and roll back onto your back and up onto your shoulders. As you roll back, you use your momentum just to roll yourself back up into sitting on the back of the pelvis. So chin tucks in, elbows nice and high, shoulder blades back, curling the spine, rolling back into the shoulders, and back up. And at the top, chest forward to balance yourself. So chin tucked in, rolling back onto the shoulders, and back up. Good. So when you're doing this, make sure you don't flatten out at the bottom. So we don't want you to come back, lose all momentum, and kick yourself back up. We want it all to happen one nice smooth movement. Shoulder blades back, elbows nice and high, chin tucks in, curl the spine, and back up. So you want to round the spine into a nice little ball. You're going to turn your whole body into a nice little ball. Chin to the chest, rolling back onto the shoulders, and back up. So this way building control of the abs, creating a nice smooth movement as you roll down onto the shoulders, and getting some balance at the end. One last one, chin to the chest, rolling back onto the shoulders, and back up. Good. So you should be able to stop yourself between each one of them. And then roll back down onto your back. Perfect. A little bit more for the upper abs now. So we're going to do the confusing one. Outside hand to the outside of the ankle, inside hand to the knee. We're going to switch side to side. After that, we're going to do a little bit for the glutes. Imprint the spine, legs to tabletop, chin to the chest, head and shoulders up, right hand to the outside of the ankle, left hand to the inside of the knee, straighten the left leg. 2, 3, 4, chin is tucked in. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bend the knees, rest the head down, and bring the feet down. Let's turn over onto our side now. So, line the back up at the back of the mat, rest the bottom hand underneath your head, top hand onto the hip hips sweep forward to the front of the mat. Push the top leg away, so you're reaching out down to the far end of the room. We're going to lift and lower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now make sure the pelvis doesn't lift up and down, so all the time you're pushing the heel away from the body, and that little bone in the front of the pelvis should stay perfectly still. And you should feel the hip socket moving up and down below that. And last one, and rest down. If you feel the pelvis is rocking up and down this, push that heel further away from the body. Next one, little circles. So push the heel down, lift the leg up about 6 inches, small little circles. 1, 2, 3. Now this time make sure the pelvis doesn't rock back and forward. As the leg comes forward and back, the pelvis will want to start swinging like this. We don't want that to happen, so keep the pelvis as still as you can. Push the heels away from the body and make sure it doesn't tilt forward or backwards. 2 and 1, and change directions. 10, 9, 8. And when you go backwards, it'll be a little bit harder. We tend to start in our favourite direction. So as you change direction, keep those circles nice and smooth and round. And last one, and rest the leg down. Perfect. Last one this side, we're going to cycle forward and backwards. So we lift the top leg up 6 inches, and we're going to cycle forward and backwards. Again, try and keep the pelvis still, so the top hand is there so you can feel what's happening. Drag the heel up along your shin, and then forward as you bring it down. Good. Keep the knee the same height off the mat the whole time. So as the knee comes forward, don't let it drop down. And then change directions. Good. So we're nearly there. We're going to finish with this on the glutes and the left leg. We're going to switch around to the right leg, and that'll be our first class of this block. Good, nice smooth moves. Again, keeping that pelvis still so all the movement happens at the hip joint here. And rest the top leg down. Perfect. Flip over onto the opposite side. Rest the head down onto the mat. Again, hips sweep forward so the back is in line with the back of the mat, and the feet are at the front of the bottom of the mat. Right side of the pelvis direct on top of the left, right hand on the right pelvis. Lift and lower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Remember, pushing that heel away all the time. Lift the top leg and into circles. 1, 2. Make sure the pelvis doesn't roll back and forward. 6. Good. 8, 9, 10. Change directions. 10, 9. Relax the shoulders. So there shouldn't be any tension anywhere in the body, apart from the hip working really hard here. And rest the leg down. Last 2, cycling forward and backwards. Lift the top leg 6 inches and coming forward. 1, 2. Make sure the knee looks straight forward or very slightly up to the ceiling. No matter what, make sure it doesn't start pointing down towards the mat. That's when the glutes switch off. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and backwards. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Keep the pelvis still. As you bring the heel down, come straight down on top of that lower shin. So use it like a guide. Don't come back behind it. You get the pelvis rolling everywhere down. And last one. And then rest down. Perfect. So that's today's class. That was the first of this block. Focusing more on the abs, a little bit for the glutes, but we're going to really work on the abs for this block, and in the next block put more emphasis on the glutes. So I'll see you next week. Bye bye.